want to start with this, Tanza, because this great organization has brought two teen friends back together.
Yes. Y'all don't know. We were teeny boppers. She said teen. We were teeny boppers. And we lived directly across the street from each other. She went to high school. I went to Baker High School. And we grew up, started doing things in the community, and here we are.
Yes, here we are. So, Tanza, let's give a little bit of background about you, because this is not your first rodeo in the NAACP. Right. You were also the president for the Columbus branch.
Yes.
And you have also operated on the state level for many years as the state secretary.
Yes,
give us a little bit of information just about your experience.
Okay. 2 terms as branch president, 2015 to 2018. And state secretary, I was elected in 2011 and I left in 2018. So 7.5 years with the state. And I'm actually on the ballot this year to run for state secretary again. So.
Awesome. Well, we hope that you win that election and get that appointment. And actually, you are the reason why I initially became involved in the NAACP. I was on your executive board when you were in your, was it second term? First term, when you were in your first term. And I stepped away doing some things in ministry. And as I have recently been ordained as a pastor, one of the first things that I wanted to do to give back to my community was to join the NAACP. So I reactivated my membership. And now, look, here we are working together in Women in NAACP.
And congratulations on your ordination.
Thank you so much. And, you know, I truly do believe that as ministers, as pastors, as leaders in the clergy community, we can't just lead from the pulpit.
Come on. Come out the door.
Absolutely. We've got to come out of the door, and we have got to become completely involved in everything that's happening in our community. So this is what we are doing here. So we have combined together, again, the state and the Columbus branch have combined to do a fundraiser, because of course we know you can't do anything without what?
Funds.
You can't do anything without funds. And actually, it's going to be a statewide effort. Anybody that may be watching from another county or another branch in another city, I will be reaching out to all of the WIN chairpersons for the local branches to continue to push the activity that's happening, but to make sure that we are actively involved in fundraising so that our programs and activities can continue. So before we get into the specifics of the event, though, the WIN has a theme. It is outstretched hands and open hearts to women and children. That is why it is so important for you all to come on board and join us in this fundraising effort, because we are committed to helping women and children in all of the communities that we service. And we know that the NAACP isn't just local, it isn't statewide. It's a national organization. And Tanza, you're going to share some more with us about the history of the NAACP and just why, as a whole, it is so important to be a part of the organization. But we have planned for the city of Columbus, Georgia, March 12th, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. outside of Overflow Beauty and Barbershop, a pop-up shop. And there's a couple reasons why we wanted to do a pop-up shop, because I did not want to do a fundraiser that would just raise funds for the NAACP and not be a blessing to the community as well.
Amen.
So what type of vendors are we expecting for this pop-up shop?
We are expecting women and youth vendors to come. Anybody else is, we're excited to have everyone, but our focus in WIN is women and children. And a lot of times, African-American women, we are small business owners, and sometimes we don't get a lot of support. So we want to spotlight and we want to highlight you. To our young folk who are young entrepreneurs, we want you to come on board too, so that we can highlight you, because as a young person, the best way to keep your growth, your financial growth growing, is to start when you're young so you can retire when you're my age.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that I will be doing is giving out information at the booth that one of my businesses will have there, because we want to make sure that we're steering our young people in the right direction. Tanza, I've been a business owner now for 20 plus years. And if I had somebody to just give me a little bit of information. But we've talked about it. We
Yeah.
grew up together.
Yeah.
Can I say that we were from the hood?
Yes, we were.
We grew up on Winston Road in Columbus,
Yes.
Georgia, right across the
Yes.
street from one another. No one was coming to Winston Road to pull up these little black girls and these little
No.
black boys saying,
No.
you can do it, you can own your own business, and this is how you do it.
Right. No one did that. And so we're going to break that cycle and do it now. Our young folk, as you can see here in Columbus, there's so much turmoil in our communities, but we're going to break that. We did grow up in the hood. We did grow up on Winston Road. It's not the Winston Road that it is now, but I thank God that he got us in this place because he directed our path. And so we want to be a blessing to our young folks and say, come on, we'll show you how to get it started. Business plan, we can help you with that too.
Absolutely. So the businesses again that we are targeting is of course women and youth. And outside of that, we're going to make sure we fill up the space for the youth vendors, for women
Yes.
vendors, but we also are open to other small businesses,
Yes.
churches that want to come out and have just an informational booth that says, this is my church, come and join us. This is what we have going. And I wanted to mention that because this is such a different age for everybody. COVID has changed the face of how we do church, the face of how we do business, the face of how we do life. So we want to offer opportunities for churches and other small businesses. I have someone that's already signed up that has a lawn care service, and he's just going to come out and put the information, offer discounts to the people that visit his booth. So don't think if you don't have a brick and mortar facility that you can't come and be a vendor, because you can definitely participate. And we want to give a shout out before we start talking about the NAACP to Mr. Gerald and Katasha Riley at Overflow. They are always in support of everything that is done in the community. And when we approached them and said, we want to do the pop-up shop, the answer was yes before I could get it off my lips. So we want to thank you so much, Gerald and Katasha Riley, for supporting this. And anyone else that wants to support behind the scenes, we're going to give you some address information, some phone numbers, email addresses of how you can support. If you don't have a business, you're not a vendor, but you want to come out and support us, help be security, to kind of help monitor the traffic, get the flow of people that's happening, just be there with us and support. We're going to let you know how you can do that as well. But Tanza, I know some people have questions because it may be new to them, women in the NAACP. And I know you have such an extensive history that I'm going to allow you to explain to our viewers just what is women in the NAACP and why it's important to be a part.
Okay. Which is easy for me, like you said. The purpose of women in the NAACP is to enhance leadership and the leadership role of women, to serve as an advocacy tool and vehicle for social, economic, political, and educational, as well as health and welfare issues affecting women, girls, and children. We support the policies of our national office and of our state. And on that note, I want to give a shout out to our branch president, Mr. Wayne Hales, and to our state president, Ms. Barbara Pierce.
Yes.
For allowing the two of us to come together to bring this initiative to Columbus. And so as we're taking the lead from our national office, we're here to make sure that we enhance the lives of women and children.
Absolutely. And I have two things that I want to say. Yes, Ms. Barbara Pierce was very instrumental, of course, in choosing me to be a part of her executive committee.
Yes.
So I'm grateful for that relationship. I met her when I was a tender girl of 19 years old. Singing in the community, and she came and supported one of the community choirs that I had. And from then she has been a phenomenal support. And of course, Mr. Wayne Hales, we know him by that newspaper. But he has also been so instrumental in keeping things together in the Columbus branch. So again, from me as well, thank you to the both of you for your leadership. Let's talk about leadership for just a second. Women in leadership in the year 2022. Are we still facing opposition, racism, and just issues in the workplace and establishing businesses because we're women?
Yes. And I say yes because now we're in the age of the pandemic. And oftentimes women have to go to work because we're leading single family households. Even women who are in two family households, you got a husband and wife combination, you got children. The effects of this pandemic has given us a different kind of way of thinking. And so women have been sitting at home, stitching little knits together, and they decided that, okay, well, we could turn this into an online something. Let's let everybody
Yes.
know. And so it has changed. And so while women are getting this entrepreneurial spirit, we want to make sure that we help you enhance your business. If you're knitting scarves, if you're knitting just anything, we do know that what is it called? Oh my goodness, crocheting blew up
Mm-hmm.
in this pandemic. And so there's a lot of women that are out there doing it. I've seen a couple of pop-ups out in Fort Benning of folks doing that. I've seen women writing books, self help books and care books, and women who are trying to hold it together, because oftentimes we are the helpmate.
Right.
And so we have to spiritually get ourselves together so that we can move our families forward. And so we are the organization to help you do that. Of course, we have children, young adults who are growing up in this pandemic as well. And so our young children and our teens are suffering. And so we want to be that outlet to help you get resources, whether it's mental health services or whether it's self-help books. So a lot of people don't like for people to know when they are hurting. And so we'll be able to put some resources out there for you that you can find in your own time and get yourself together, because you are important to this world. A lot of people are depressed, but young folk and women, we got to hold it together because our men need us.
Absolutely, because we will have we'll have a tent or a table sitting out there giving you information about what we do, the services that we offer, and to just be a link to other service providers
Yes.
in the community. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we want to help reintroduce you or
Right.
introduce you to some organizations in the community that can help you. And like you said, the issues of mental health, that is something that's really important right now. If you weren't dealing with any mental health issues after being in COVID and being locked in isolation, losing jobs, trying to figure out how you are going to make it, you're going to need a therapist and a priest.
Yes.
Because I've had to use therapy services myself, just getting through some of the things that I've been through. So don't be ashamed. Come out. If you just want to know who we are, what we are doing, come out and please visit with us. Now we want to talk, just to go back to the details of the pop-up shop. Registration is, guess what? When I said you're going to start cash apping us immediately. Registration is only $35 per vendor. That's nothing. You go to drive through McDonald's and get food for 3 children, and that's $35 per vendor. And if you do not have your own table, we can provide a 6-foot table for you to vend your products, and that's only at an additional $15. So then that's only $50. But if you can just register for $35, bring a couple 6-foot tables, put a tent up. You know, we do have a space that's marked up, but a couple 6-foot table and a tent would be perfect for you guys to come and to vend and bring your products. I was noticing, even with at-home businesses, my daughter has started one. She got a little Cricut machine making things. We just went, in fact, to Atlanta to get some products for her to make some more items to sell. This is the age where, thank you, God, business has been taken away from the big corporations. And we, with the access of the internet, Instagram, and all of that, we can have our own businesses and make what we are worth, because that's what I want to talk about, why it's so important for you. Even if you're just trying your hand at something, maybe this will be your first pop-up shop. But that's okay, because when you see the value that's placed on your work versus what you make when you go to work for somebody else, I promise you will stay in it, because that's what happened to me 20 years ago. I was working, I think, for Defects. I had a good job. And it was a grant position. So, you know, I was able to kind of flow and go as I wanted to. But when I got the entrepreneurial bug, and when I came back to Columbus and I said, I'm going to use this cosmetology certificate in education that I have never used. And I started doing hair on the couch in my house. I wasn't supposed to, but I started doing hair on the couch, and realized that one day I could make what I was making all week long on my state job.
And you just said something that was so perfect. I thank God for the pandemic, because it allowed small, unknown folk to start businesses. Shout out to your daughter for getting started.
Thank you.
And my son also started his t-shirt and clothing line.
Awesome.
From home. Because he couldn't do it nowhere else. He got children. So during the pandemic, he got twins. Pandemic, you couldn't go anywhere. So he set up shop, and he also does music, and 25 years old.
Awesome. And see, our kids were being oppressed by the system of
Yes.
you got to go to corporate
Mm,
America, or you got to go to big business in order to get the products
right.
that you need. Some of these
Mhm.
children are becoming wealthy
Yes.
overnight just from the
Yes.
products they have because it's in us. And because
Yes.
we're talking about the NAACP, we can talk about the fact that it is in our young Black children.
Yes.
The skills and the mindset to be entrepreneurs. So, what we are doing this Saturday is also going to give that safe place for
Yes.
4 hours for some young woman, some young man to present their product to the community.
Yes.
And who knows, even to the world, who may be there to buy the product that says, I'm going to tell my cousin in Alaska about you. I'm going to tell my friend about you in California. Can you make us 300 shirts?
Absolutely.
Because if they tell your son that, he's going to make that order,
He
isn't
better
he?
make them too.
Yes. So we are just excited. So we just want to spend these few moments to talk to you all about what we're doing and when. But before we close, we want to just talk about the NAACP as an organization as a whole, to give you the information on how you can join and be a part. We're here in Columbus, Georgia, so we're going to talk about even the Columbus branch, why it's so important, and some of the issues and things that's happening in the community that your support and your membership in the NAACP will help to affect.
Okay, so as an adult, the membership started at $30 annually. You can also become a life member of the NAACP. I've been here last weekend, made 15 years. I am a life member of the NAACP, and that's $75 a year for 10 years. Some of y'all got $750. You can just pay your membership like that and get your life membership plaque and pin.
Okay.
However, again, regular adult membership is $30. For the youth in college, membership is $10 and $15 with the Crisis Magazine. Again, I think that my son got this bug to do something as an entrepreneur because he grew up in the NAACP.
Mm-hmm.
And to you adults that want to join, make sure you get your youth a membership too. There are a lot of ways of keeping your children, out of trouble and learning something new. With my four, all four of them were members and are still members of the NAACP. I made sure that I got my nieces and my nephews. So $10, $15 ain't much. You can get the whole crew for $100. You can get 10 kids as a member of the NAACP so that we can help structure them and teach them the way that they should go. And when they're grown, they will not depart from it.
Absolutely. And so with the membership at our booth, we will have
A membership drive.
a membership drive there at the pop-up shop. If you don't want to wait until then, though, you can go online.
You can go online and get your membership. If you go on NAACP.org, click to NAACP in your community. The Columbus branch NAACP unit number is 1587. We also have a Columbus State NAACP Youth and College Division chapter, and their information is on there as well. But you have to be a youth and college member in order to join CSU. So with that being said, I encourage you, because in this day and age, we thought civil rights movements and civil rights issues were done and gone. But as SB 202 has come into play in the state of Georgia after our 2020 elections, although NAACP is nonpartisan, voting rights is a right and should be a right for everyone.
Absolutely. And I'll say to you, I have a young woman in my household who's at CSU. So the Columbus branch will have another member for the youth and college
Thank
membership.
you.
And also my daughter is running for Miss CSU on Saturday night. So you guys say a prayer for her. I'm just going to throw that plug in. But that is what we want to do, is to bring the youth in our communities together as well as the adults, because you talked about civil rights issues. One of the first things that I did was join in with Miss Pierce and went to the Ahmaud Arbery trial when Dr. Bryan and Al Sharpton and asked for the pastoral leaders to come and to join together. And it was such a surreal moment to know that, again, in at that time 2021, but still 2021, 2022, that we are dealing with these kinds of civil rights issues. Can a Black man just run through any neighborhood, it don't matter what neighborhood, even if it's not his neighborhood, and leave with his life?
Right.
That's a civil right for us to be able to live and
Yes.
to enjoy the freedoms of this earth that God created.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we should be able to. And as I was on my way here, I was wrapping up watching the sentencing of Kim Potter, who was the police officer that shot and killed Dante Wright.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it bothers me every time I hear someone has shot a black man, especially black men, because the devil has always had this thing um, about our black men and our youth, and this goes all the way back to American history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a problem with that because I try to uplift black men. I don't from what road, from what culture. We have to let our kings know that they're kings.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes we fall down on hard times, but it was our kings that actually,
Mm-hmm.
the national president of the NAACP, Mr. Benjamin Hooks,
Okay.
he saw that it was just everything NAACP top heavy were men.
Mm-hmm.
And so he helped his wife birth women in the NAACP.
Awesome.
Because he said, we got to give the lady their leadership roles. And so I'm so supportive of this organization. I'm so proud of former President Hooks, who has passed on. But he thought it not robbery to uplift women. So as he allowing us today to uplift women, we're going to uplift our men. Men, you are eligible to join women in the NAACP because we can't do anything without our brothers. We need y'all.
Absolutely. And so we did not mention the additional cost for membership to join WIN.
So women in the NAACP, again, if you are a member of the Columbus branch, it's $30. If you want to be a member of WIN, it's an extra $10. And that $10 is spread between the local branch and the state. Right now, our national office is not asking us for a membership portion. So you would pay $40 to join, and you will be a part of our state, our local, and our national women in the NAACP. And again, like you said, we grew up right around the corner from here on Winston Road. I never thought that I would be in the NAACP. Never thought I'd be a president or a state secretary. I just thought I was going to grow up, go to college, go to work. But God saw different. And in March of 2019, I got my license as a minister. I ain't no preacher yet.
All right.
I still got my issues.
sister.
But I thank God that he brought us up in a community that we could see the things that we didn't want to be, and then we could see the capabilities of what we could be through him. So I appreciate this. I appreciate you so much. This girl can sing. She got some pipes on her. This girl can sing. And
I do a little something.
You still doing a little something all these years. So thank you for having me today.
Yes, and you said something that was so important when you talked about, the founding of women in the NAACP. Why it's so important for us, this generation, to continue, because we aren't supposed to be sitting here. Let statistics tell it. Going to Baker High School, growing up on Winston Road, on food stamps, public assistance, etc. We're not supposed to be here, but I believe it was the work that was done in the generations before us, the leaders and founders of the NAACP as they came through, that we are able to sit here as women in the leadership positions that we have, not only in the NAACP, but throughout the community. So it is our civic duty to sit in these seats and to encourage you that's a part of our community now. We may not be experiencing the things that they experienced then, but we have it on a different level, and civil injustice still exists. And we are here to speak up and be that voice for the women and the children that may be voiceless, and say, hey, we have your back. We got some other programs that we're going to introduce as the weeks go on. And times I would like to do this on a weekly basis with you, if that's okay. And we can just come back and talk about some of the other things that we have. So we're just going to give a quick recap of the pop-up shop. Again, that's going to be Saturday, March 12th, 2022 at 10 a.m. from 10 until 2 p.m. outside of Overflow Beauty and Barbershop. The address is on the screen, 1816 Midtown Drive, Columbus, Georgia. That's right behind the old Kmart. I believe I said Roses there now.
Yes.
Behind Roses on Macon Road. It's going to be an outdoor pop-up shop. It's only $35 for every organization, every vendor that wants to come and set up. So get there soon, because there is a cutoff. We can't put everybody out there in the parking lot. And at this price, it's not going to last long. And this is just going to be a drop in the bucket of the funding that's really needed to do the programs. But we've got to start somewhere. And as she said, we're going to take it, and between the state and local level, we're going to make sure that we get the ball rolling in 2022 to offer some great services and resources for the people in our community. I'll just let the cat out of the bag on one thing. We've already been talking about resources for the elderly.
Yes.
In the community, for elderly women, because I know my mother, she's at retirement age, getting a little Social Security, and she went to apply for food stamps, and they told her she was going to get like $60 or something like that. Who can eat off of 60? I'm going to get closer to this camera. Who can eat off of $60 a month? So it's up to us as women, joining together as women in the NAACP, to know where the need is, and to make sure that we connect people with the resources to make sure that they're getting enough food. Because it's a shame, if we look at the food stamps and the way they're being allocated, the younger people, they're getting so many, but the older people are being left out of the loop. So that's just another thing that's dear to my heart, is to make sure that we are looking out for the elderly women that's in our communities.
Exactly. And I wanted to make sure that you said that. That was so perfect, because we have assisted living, we have independent living, and some of those folks are already on fixed income. Some of these people are in just community members in our community in housing, and they need their grass cut, they need their bills paid, they need all these other things. But one thing we don't want them to worry about is food, because food insecurity in this day and age is real. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank this community for allowing me to still be able to continue to pour into the things that we are doing. And so we've got to take care of our old folks. We have to. During this past winter, it's been cold, and I always wonder who would take care of them. And I thank Mr. Neil Richardson for stepping up. He's over there off Hamilton Road and helping, but we got to take care of our own.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tanza, let's go ahead and leave them with the Cash App and at least email information. We will be posting, at least beginning of next week, a registration link. But if you're hearing this today and you say, I want to come to the pop-up shop and be a vendor, then you can make sure you can go ahead and get a jump start on registration. You can email us and we'll redirect you to the application link. But go ahead and get your interest in, so you can be first in line. And I'm saying this again to ministries out here. This would be great for maybe your youth organization or some auxiliary to just come and set up and let people know about what's happening in your ministry, because there is such a need for fellowship. And that's why I'm really glad about COVID for churches, to be honest. Y'all don't hate on me, pastors out there, but I am glad that we are in this age, because it's put us back in a place where we can come together as small groups and really see the need of people, get to know one another again, and not be lost in the mega church environment.
Right.
So I'm just so happy for this. But Tanza, can you share with the people the email address? Tanza is going to be taking care of making sure that you get registered, and the communication person for this. So the Cash App that they need, in Leanna, will you put that on the screen? And then the email address that they can reach out to her and just say, I want to be a vendor.
Okay, the Cash App is $NAACP 5187B. And that is, again, $NAACP 5187B. And that will go directly to our treasurer, who is Lynn Green for the Columbus, Georgia branch. And she will make sure that you get your receipts on time. And our email address is Columbus, Georgia branch at gmail.com. Again, that's Columbus, Georgia branch at gmail.com.
And you will be Cash Apping one of two amounts. And make sure in your 4-line that you do put that it is for
women, WIN 2022. That will be assigned to our pop-up shop.
WIN 0022. Okay, so in the 4-line, put WIN 0022 so that money can be allocated to the pop-up shop, and you'll be sending one of two amounts, either $35 if you're going to provide your own tables, etc.,
Right.
or $50, take the periods out,
Mhm.
just WIN, or $50 if we need to provide a table for you. And that would again be 1 6-foot table that we would provide at the $50 rate. And you can go ahead and start to send cash apps now. And after you send your cash app, please do just shoot an email to the email address. Again, that's Columbus, Georgia branch at gmail.com. Shoot us an email and say, I sent my payment via Cash App to be a vendor at the pop-up shop for March 12th. Give us some contact information, and Tanza, or one of the members of her team, will reach out to you to give you more information, answer questions, send you another link that you can get all the information from. This has been a great session. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for asking me to come.
Yes, I wouldn't have it any other way, because this is about us building sisterhood. And as a leader, I could not have done this by myself. And that's what good leaders do. Good leaders know that I'm not an island. And as we work together, we build one another up.
Right.
I pull from the strength of your leadership and your experience and what you have to offer, and we pull from one another. And that's what we want to build in the communities. We're going to end by saying this, ladies, it is time out for being catty. It is time out for not supporting one another.
Right.
Looking over there saying, oh, she thinks she's something, who she is. I'm going to spend my money across the street at Walmart rather than supporting her boutique. It is time out for us. We need to join together. I preached a sermon on Saturday night called Coming to America. And it talked about the journey of the middle passage. We don't want to get stuck there, but we do want to remember what our women had to go through coming to America, what they endured, the hardships, being raped, being beaten, being kept in a compartment where they were stacked like books for weeks, coming to America. And for the ones that did survive, for the ones that did make it, what they had to go through generation to generation to fight for civil rights so we can get to the place that we're at today, that even though we're still facing some opposition, we don't even understand what it was like to walk in their shoes.
Not at all.
So women, we've got to stand together and support one another. So we're supporting one another here. And again, I'll be going across the state, getting in touch with the other chairpersons and the other branches to support the efforts there. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Tanza, do you have anything else to say before we close?
Shout out to Madam Ida B. Wells, who was one of the founders of the NAACP in this day of Black History Month. Next month is Women History Month. And so we would like to shout out and pour out. So come and join us at the pop-up shop, because next month we're going to highlight those women and those youth that helped make this event successful.
Thank you. We love you all. God bless you. And we will see you back again the next time that we come on next week. I like Fridays. You like Fridays?
I do.
Okay, let's come back. So next Friday, we'll come back and see you all around lunchtime and just give you a little bit more information. Have a blessed rest of your day.